When I was initially asked to join forces with the SASK Game Council and the mission staff from the Western Canada Summer Games, I didn't really know what to expect. I certainly didn't think I would enjoy the experience so much. You see, I was never huge into sports, aside from the odd beer league, but what I learned over the past couple of weeks is that this event represents so much more than just athletics. You see, Swift Current is a rather small city in comparison to others that have hosted the games. Due to the sheer resilience and the dedication of the volunteers and the community as a whole, you would never guess that it's a city of roughly 18,000 people.
We're a very proud community of 18,500 strong. We have a trading area of around 50,000 people, so we ultimately become a hub of the Southwest. The Western Canada Summer Games, it's the biggest event our community's ever hosted. So with 18,500 people, we asked our community for 2,000 volunteers for this event.
We've had over 1,700 be a part of the games, and with the population of 18,000 in Swift Current, that's almost a 10% rate.
I think that's a big thing for our great little city we have here, is that there's so many people that care and they just want to make it a successful event for these great athletes and mission staff and coaches that are all here from across Western Canada.
The volunteers are the real MVPs of the Western Canada Summer Games.
We've had businesses shut down to come and send their entire business to volunteer with us for a day or two. Without that, games like this aren't successful.
I think the volunteer showing that you'll see around the games is representative of Saskatchewan in general. It's just really cool to be a part of.
We opened the games with a really fun opening ceremony. Immediately after, myself and a group of about 20 of our city staff and firemen and some volunteers took everything down, and we were able to build a basketball floor by about 2 in the morning that night. And just a few hours later, we hosted our first ever basketball game at the Innovation Credit Union iPlex.
It makes me want to make this my home forever. And you know there's going to be another opportunity someday for another fun event, so I'll be sitting there waiting for whatever it happens to be.
We are a little bit of a smaller community, but we'll continue to punch above our weight.
As soon as I arrived, one of the Team SASK softball teams kind of took me under their wing. I always thought I was pretty good at slow pitch, but turns out I needed some pointers. The players on this team came from various communities and First Nations in the northern region of the province. So for many of them, this was their first time being involved in something of this nature. What seemed kind of surprising to me is that most of them hadn't met prior to these games. It seemed like they were lifelong friends. Brody is a hearing impaired member of the team, and it was really cool to see the rest of the teammates communicate with him and even learn some preliminary sign language. It was a really great way to kick off the games. At the games, there was a real palpable sense of inclusivity, and there was events dedicated specifically to para-athletes and Special O athletes. It was just a really welcoming environment to be a part of.
My name is Yusuf Qaid, and I'm competing in wheelchair athletics, 200 meter, 400 meter, 800 meter. I was born in Iraq, Baghdad, and I moved when I was 5 years old to Syria. In 2010, I got a call from healthcare to move to Canada, Saskatoon.
Now, the coordination required for wheelchair racing is bonkers. I can't even think of another word to describe it. So they told me I had to wear these gloves that kind of were straight jackets for your thumbs, because I was told that if my thumbs were out loosey-goosey, there's a very good chance that they'll get cut off in my spokes. So that was a really nice affirmation to start off my wheelchair racing career with.
This is my first year competing in the Western Canada Summer Games. I'm excited to compete in it.
So at my final day at the Western Canada Summer Games, I met up with the mission staff and they told me that we were going to go and check out wrestling. And as a joke, I said, "Now there's no way I'm wrestling any kids today." They just kind of smiled and nodded, and then cut to 3 hours later, I'm in a full-on singlet. Now, I didn't even pretend that I stood a chance of being a contender in this category, so I eventually just resorted to being a human punching bag for the wrestlers to practice with. So So when I was told I'd be canoeing, I didn't really give it a second thought. Just a month ago, I canoed 50 kilometers across the Saskatchewan River Delta. It was pretty leisurely, it was chill. And then they pulled out the canoe and it was this super kind of skinny, aerodynamic thing that was designed clearly for speed. I was told to I had to kneel triumphantly across it, all while maintaining balance and core strength and somehow rowing rapidly. And when I got there, they told me that if I got 2 rows in, they'd be impressed. And I just sat there and I was like, wait, what? Nope.
Everyone thinks like our sport is like, oh yeah, I go to the lake, I canoe, I kayak all the time, but it's like, it's definitely a very different stream with our sprint flatwater boats.
So Jaden Hanley cleaned up.
After completing the games, I got 10 gold medals and 2 silver medals.
So although this is a competition, I found that there was just kind of an emphasis put on this just simply being a communal, rewarding experience for every participant involved, regardless of their level of athleticism. I know I felt pretty rewarded, and turns out I'm not the best athlete.
So while I'm at the games, I'm in the role of mental performance consultant with Team SASK, so I'm able to work with athletes as a group or individually, coaches and managers as well, in order to make sure that they're mentally engaged, mentally focused, dealing with distractions, managing pressure, and just really optimizing their mental abilities to be able to physically perform their best. I find it also helps the teams come together too, because they're talking about these things and sharing them, and then they're aware of themselves, but also aware what kind of works as a group too.
My favorite part was just the community and just really how nice the volunteers were. They were very nice people. We got to really create a bond. Yeah, it was just an all-around great experience at the games.
So over my time in Swift Current, I was very much put in my place in terms of my dwindling athleticism, but regardless, I am very, very proud to be an honorary member of Team SASK.
Go Team SASK!
Go Team SASK!
Go Team SASK, go.
Go Team SASK!
Go Team SASK!
Go Team SASK!